Again, thanks so much for joining us. If you weren't here, my name is Doug Harrington. I'm one of the admissions counselors. This is my fourth year now in admissions, eighth year now if you include my time as a student here at Binghamton. So again, welcome to our presentation on the Performing and Fine Arts here at Binghamton. So just a little overall agenda here in regards to what we're going to go over. We're certainly going to go over all of the different organizations that we do have, or so all of the different departments that we have in the music or in the fine and performing arts, as well as different student-run organizations and local community organizations as well that students certainly love to participate in the local community. So we certainly hope you enjoy. And like I said, if you have questions, please feel free to put them down in the Q&A functionality. So, of course, we will start with the music department here. It's a wonderful program here that we have here in Binghamton. We do have two separate majors here within the music department. We do have our Bachelor's of Arts in Music, and we do have our music performance major as well. And the difference being, the music performance is a little bit more of an intensive program, focusing more so around, the playing of an instrument or the vocal performance of a student. While the Bachelor's of Arts in Music is more so focusing on, the coursework in music theory, music history, different things like that. But of course, the really beautiful thing about all of our fine arts and performing arts departments is that you'll see a lot of non-majors participate in a lot of the organizations, a lot of ensembles, as well as, maybe it's not their forefront major. We do have several minors that we do have here throughout our performing and fine arts programs. As you can see, we do offer a music minor here at Binghamton. So if it's something that you're doing it now, you're heavily involved in high school, you want to take it with you to Binghamton, please, by all means, we'd be more than happy to welcome you with open arms into any of our music programs here, whether it be a full-on Bachelor's of Arts in Music, a Bachelor's of Music Performance, or a music minor. The one thing I do want to mention, throughout the presentation, your big question that I'm sure you'll have is, does this require an audition? Does this require a portfolio or anything like that? The answer is no, outside of our music performance major. So our music performance major is that one major that does require an audition to get into the program. Outside of that, if you want to be a regular music major, if you want to go ahead and go into our theater program or our studio art majors or anything like that, there is no portfolio or audition required. But if you do want to go into our music performance major, there is an audition component, a part of that program. So I certainly want to point that out. And like I said, please feel free to check out our music minor as well. If you don't want to spend all your time focusing on that music, but want to keep it in your life, you can feel free to go ahead and join our music minor. But of course, like I said, we do have so many different musical ensembles here at Binghamton, ranging from instrumental to vocal, and you do not have to be a music performance major or a music major to be a part of these organizations, which is really nice. We do have our University Symphony Orchestra. We have our Wind Symphony, Jazz Ensemble. We have a bunch of dance and drumming ensembles, whether it be with our chamber choir, harper chorale, treble chorus, anything like that. We have so many different ways to get involved in order to, express your musical interest. And of course, if you're a part of one of these ensembles, correct me if I'm wrong, Carrie, I'm pretty sure you get credit for all of them because they are classes, correct?
For the most part, yes. For the ensembles, yeah. With the music department, I'm a little unsure. There might be some that are non-credit bearing, but they might be required experience going into your major or your minor.
Right. So there's just lots of great ways to kind of, like I said, explore. Maybe you want to be in the symphony orchestra one year. Maybe you want to switch over to the jazz ensemble the next year. Just a great way to kind of keep the music in your life and make sure it's entirely immersive here. And we certainly love all of our music majors. And of course, we do have studio lessons available as well for students who do want to participate in that. There is an extra fee to have these studio lessons, but you can certainly sign up for those as well. So we certainly want to highlight that. And of course, our practice rooms. We do have a plethora of practice rooms, not only in our fine arts building, but also scattered throughout campus, including our residential communities. I remember specifically I lived in our Hinman College, and I remember there being a piano room and a practice room that there would always be a student in there practicing, whether it be piano or maybe they had a saxophone or a trumpet or anything like that, that they would bring and go ahead and practice down there in that room. So there is a plethora of practice rooms that you can find throughout campus that you can certainly go ahead and practice your craft here at Binghamton. So that was a little bit about our music department. Of course, we want to talk about our studio art and design department as well. You can see that we do have 6 different majors a part of the art department. We have drawing, painting, sculpture, graphic design, printmaking, and our photography major. You can see that we do have BFAs in the first 5, and photography is a little bit newer. So we do have a Bachelor's of Arts within our photography major. Carrie, which one did you focus on when you were a student?
I was a graphic design major, but I took so many printmaking classes and so many drawing classes. I probably could have had a double, but actually at that time it wasn't offered as separate majors. It was all under one umbrella. So this department has actually grown quite a bit since I've graduated, which was in '08. So in that time, there's been some new faculty coming in, and it's just a really wonderful department for visual art students.
No, absolutely. I 100% love our studio art majors, especially. I love that we've kind of expanded, like you said, we keep expanding. Our photography major is a little bit newer here at Binghamton. And I know that we've gotten several questions about it in the past couple of years, and I'm very excited to say that we do have it now, that students who are interested in photography can certainly come and study here at Binghamton. So we certainly love that. Now, Carrie, would you mind kind of going into what you do now? I know you work within the theater department, but how you use your major now into what you kind of do with the theater department?
Sure. So basically, when you become a graphic design major and then you pick up graphic design work as a professional or as a freelancer, you're expected to know all sorts of things like website design and marketing, and all these things tend to touch on different areas of graphic design. And the faculty at this institution are really aware of that. So I was actually really well equipped to enter into my job that I have now. I didn't go straight from undergrad to this job in particular, but it did set me up for some really great skills in being able to have great visual communication skills. So basically what I do is I do all of the print and web-based marketing for the theater department. We have main stage shows, and I also help market the degree program. So there's a lot of design work involved, but there's also a lot of writing and some photography and videography from time to time. But it's all rooted in this really great foundational education that you get here in really all visual design and aesthetic training.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And certainly a jack of all trades there within the current position that you have. You certainly do it all for that department, and you do an amazing job with it. So certainly want to thank you for taking your time again, for being here and speaking to our prospective students. Now, of course, just like our music program, our music department, we do have a studio art minor. So again, if you want to go ahead and look into the minor, maybe you do art as a passion or anything like that, and you want to do it in some form here at Binghamton, we do have that studio art minor as well. And of course, we do have amazing facilities on our campus, 2 of which we certainly love to highlight here. I know, Carrie, you already mentioned briefly about the art museum that we have here on our campus. It is absolutely phenomenal. I like to refer to it as a hidden gem on our campus, because you can, not too many students like to utilize it as much as they absolutely should. There's over 4,000 works of art that has been collected over the past 50 years within the museum. And it's really nice. They have rotating exhibits. There's usually about 3 or 4 a year that I personally love to go check out every single one of them. It is certainly free to the students, faculty, staff, and the public, which is certainly really nice to just kind of take a break away from your studies and go check out the art museum. And we do have some student galleries as well. So, if you want to be a major or minor and you're working on these projects, you're certainly not just going to be the only one to see it. We do love to showcase our students' work, whether it be in the student-run galleries, in the Grand Corridor, which there's certainly lots that get hung up there, and throughout the Fine Arts Building as well. So it's certainly a really great space to just kind of go and check out all of the artwork, whether it be professional or student-made. And of course, we have our art co-op as well. We have a couple of different co-ops on campus. But the one that's really cool about the art co-op is that it's entirely student operated. It's located right within our fine arts building. And basically, it's just a place where art students can go for their supplies at a much, much cheaper rate than saying going to, all the big chain stores, Walmart, Target, AC Moore, or AC Moore doesn't exist anymore, Michael's, any of those places, which we certainly have here in Binghamton, but it's a much cheaper place to kind of go get your supplies. It's run entirely by student volunteers who do get discounts for operating the store, which is pretty nice. It's a really cool space. I love our fine arts building in general. It's such an amazing open space that we have here that incorporates all of these great departments. And certainly you'll have classes within the fine arts building. Everyone pretty much has at least one class during their career here in the fine arts building. And it's a great way to just kind of go out and explore, walking through the halls of the fine arts complex and seeing all the amazing, like I said, artwork that's going on. Maybe you'll hear some performances down the hall. You'll hear, a tap class going on, walking through the halls. It's just a great way to kind of be entirely immersed in the arts within that space. So I certainly have to highlight that. And two amazing facilities that we do have on our campus with the museum that I certainly recommend students check out if you're ever on campus, as well as the art co-op for any of our students who want to purchase discounted art supplies for any of their projects, which is really nice.
Doug, can I just mention two more things about the art department? Two events that are really fantastic for visual art students is the Art Museum hosts a 24-hour drawing marathon every year in March. So they vet applicants of different ages, and you are challenged to draw from a live model for 24 hours. And the art museum stays open, but people can come in and watch your progress. But some of the stuff that just comes out of that is really spectacular, and it's a really interesting exercise for, especially for drawing students. It's a really cool event that we have. And then at the end of each spring semester is an open studio night. So, if you're not a BFA student, which BFA students have the opportunity to exhibit in the Rosevsky Gallery at the end of every year. But for everybody else, that is an opportunity where all of the studios, so it's the sculpture studio, painting, printmaking, drawing, graphic design, everybody, all those studio spaces turn into exhibit spaces, and you get to present your best work from the semester, and actually I think probably from the fall semester too. So there's exhibition opportunities for really for all students that want to in those classes.
No, absolutely. And those sound like absolutely amazing events. I always forget about the drawing marathon. It's certainly one to certainly check out. That's incredibly intensive. I know I've done some 24-hour events on campus, and I'm exhausted by the end of it. I can't even imagine how they keep their composure and their artistic ability at that 24th hour and finishing up their project. So that sounds absolutely incredible. And also, we certainly love to, like I said, highlight our students' work and making sure that their projects are displayed prominently so students can see. So great opportunities within the art department, and certainly ones to kind of explore if you're certainly interested in any of those programs. And of course, we do have the Binghamton University Theater Department. I am a theater nerd, self-professed theater nerd, so this is kind of my bread and butter here. So we do have an absolutely outstanding theater department here at Binghamton. We have our BA in theater, and we have three different concentrations. We have acting/directing, we do have dance, and we do have technical theater that you can help concentrate in. And of course, like the rest of them, we do have a theater minor where you can participate in many of the theater courses as well. It is a requirement if you are a theater major to work both in our scene shop as well as our costume shop. If you're a minor, you work for one or the other, correct, Carrie?
Yeah, that's correct.
Right. So if you're a theater minor, like I said, you don't have quite the full work extensive, but you can certainly be a part of the theater community here. We do have, like as Carrie mentioned, we do have our main stage productions. We do have our production of Macbeth that's opening tonight, and super excited to watch it. And you will all be getting a follow-up email with information on Macbeth. If you want to check it out, you can purchase tickets and watch it right at home, which is going to be really amazing to see. So certainly, please feel free to check that out and look out for those emails after the presentation is over. But like I said, we do have our main stage productions, which do include, different musicals, plays, classic and language plays, as well as dance productions. I absolutely love our main stage shows. I always go to them regardless of what is playing. You can see the bottom right-hand corner is actually a production of Guys and Dolls, which just went on not too long ago. It was actually really fun because about 3 months beforehand, I was in a production of Guys and Dolls. So it was really fun to be in the production and then a few months later see the production. And it was absolutely incredible. The work that they do between our students and our faculty and staff do an absolutely incredible job to really bring the theater to life here at Binghamton. So really amazing. We always do a production of our Jazz Nutcracker every around the winter time, as well as different plays. I always remember the production of Dancing at Lunasa I attended a couple years ago. We've done production. My very first production I ever saw there was Rent back in 2013 was my very first production that I saw there. We did Spring Awakening, Wizard of Oz, Guys and Dolls, Bells Are Ringing. I think there's some I'm missing, but those are the ones that certainly stick out in my head that I certainly remember seeing. Like I said, absolutely incredible. And of course, we have outside of our main stage season, we certainly have other productions that students love and enjoy, including opportunities for student-directed productions and class performances. We do have lots of different theaters available between our three largest theaters that sit between 400 and 1,100 seats. We have our black box theater. We have one small theater. Lots of opportunities for students to get involved, whether it be student-led and student-directed plays, student-written plays. I actually remember when I was a student, I actually read for a production that was entirely student-written, and we had a whole kind of read-through, and it was like a very professional setting, and it was really, really fun. So there are those opportunities for students to be involved in, a production all the way from like the abstract thoughts of the writer's head. And it's amazing to kind of see it progress through the years. We've had several faculty original productions. There was one recently, Castle on the Hill, right? Where, that was an incredible production that students, and I think it's amazing that a student can say, I was a part of a world premiere production at my university. And you certainly have that opportunity here at Binghamton with the theater department. And one I certainly love to highlight, if you give me 1 second, I'm just going to stop sharing my screen for a quick second, just so I can show you one of our theaters. So this is our Osterhout Concert Hall. You can see, I certainly love to highlight, this is a brand new 360-degree tour that we're having. It's not quite launched yet, so you're actually getting a nice little preview of it here, part of this production. Just to give you an idea of our largest space here, this is used for some productions, some dance performances every year, and some special productions, just to give you a whole 360-degree view of one of our spaces that I certainly love to highlight. This seats about 1,100 seats, and what's really nice, too, over the summer, our Anderson Center, which is where the concert hall sits, also acts as its own roadhouse over the summer and does bring in artists for the local community and students who are here. And what's really nice is that the wall in the back actually can be removed, and there's also windows back there that can be removed. And right behind all that is a hill with bleachers on it, and it opens up, and it can actually almost doubles the size for when we have these productions, and it's a nice night that we can actually sell almost, I believe, another 1,000 seats or something like that. Being a part of making a nice open amphitheater, which is really awesome. It's really funny. You see the bleachers in the middle of campus. If you've ever been to campus, you know which bleachers I'm talking about. I remember when I first came to Binghamton and toured, and I saw the bleachers, and I asked my tour guide what they were, and I never really got an answer. I actually thought they did productions on the roof, which I still think doing a production of Rent on the roof would be phenomenal. We'll see if it ever happens. But it wasn't until the next year where I found out that is what happens with the Osterhout Council Hall, and that it's just a really awesome experience to kind of see that and to see it with the doors down and the windows down and everything like that. So I just wanted to share that really quick before going back to the the presentation. If you just give me 1 second here. So like I said, it's a really robust theater department here at Binghamton. And we certainly love our students who participate in it. Trust me, I've met some of my most amazing friends through the theater department, and I absolutely love everything that it has to offer.
Doug, can I just mention one quick thing about the theater department too, is that so many of our faculty are still practicing professionals. So very often they are spending time in New York or really anywhere in the country. If they're the scenic designer or some of our acting and directing professors, they're taking workshops throughout the summer or performing or directing elsewhere. So our students have access to some really fantastic practicing artisans who belong to the unions, who know the latest and greatest professional practices for lighting design, costume, scenic, props, sound, and all of that. So that's something that's really great about our department.
Yes, absolutely. We want to make sure that we have the best and the brightest here, not only for students, but also for faculty and staff here, and making sure that we're giving our students the best opportunities possible. I mean, again, just to use myself as an example, even though I was a business student, I was actually lucky enough to get an internship at a regional theater out in Sag Harbor, Long Island, called Bay Street Theater. And I wasn't the only one there. There was also an electrics intern there. So we had two students from Binghamton University here, a part of 15 interns, which I think is pretty cool to kind of say that. And where we got to work with these amazing theater professionals, being behind the scenes and putting on amazing shows. It was an absolutely incredible whirlwind summer that I will absolutely never forget. So those opportunities certainly exist for students, in the real world here from Binghamton. And of course, outside of our actual departments here at Binghamton, we do have some amazing student-run groups and organizations. You can see we have two different student-run theater companies between our Hinman Production Company as well as our Dickinson Community Players. I personally was part of the Hinman Production Company, where I acted in 3 shows, I directed 2 shows, and I also sat on their executive board for 3 years. I was their financial vice president, as well as their ambassador. So when I say student-run, all of these organizations are entirely student-run. They have elected officials, they have budgets, they have events, they have everything like that under the sun. So I certainly love to highlight that. One for our music majors is an amazing organization called Extra-curricular, which is basically an ensemble. It's kind of like a symphony where pretty much anyone who has an instrument and wants to partake can absolutely join. And they actually write and compose their own music and put it on in a concert. They actually have a really great website that you can go check out where you can actually go listen to all of their former compositions and everything like that. They're absolutely incredible. Their work is amazing, and I certainly love to highlight them for anyone interested in music. And of course, if you want to sing, we not only have those university ensembles, but we have amazing a cappella groups as well. We have 9 different a cappella groups available for our students to kind of audition for and join. You can see the one in the bottom right-hand corner called Note to Self. That's just one of the 9 that we do have here at Binghamton. If you're interested in dance, we have several different dance organizations, from a tap group called Tap That. We have a couple of jazz and hip-hop groups available for our students as well. So if you're interested in that dance, you can certainly take dance classes. Like I said, I actually took tap here. I know we have ballet, we have jazz, we have a bunch of different dance classes available for our students, but you can also do it within several different organizations as well. And of course, for our art students, just to name a few different organizations, we do have our Binghamton University Fine Arts Society, as well as our Binghamton Student Design Agency. If you're, a graphic design major or a graphic design interest, you can feel free to join them, and they do amazing work within that agency as well. So lots of different, student-run organizations that, if you don't want to focus on it specifically with the major or with the department, there's certainly different ways to explore through those different organizations that we certainly have on our campus.
I think there's also a photography club.
Is there a photography club
I
now?
think there is, yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
See, we're always expanding here, always including more different clubs and organizations on our campus every single year. It's very easy to start your own organization. All you need to do is go to our student association, who they themselves are student-run. They're elected officials, and they do have a multi-million-dollar budget that they handle. So you can always feel free to go to them and start your own organization. And of course, Binghamton is an incredibly art-centric area. We have so many great ways to get involved in the local arts here at Binghamton, in the Binghamton area. We do have the Broome County Arts Council, which kind of is the umbrella organization for all of the amazing organizations that we have throughout the Broome County area. They include different theaters, galleries, art studios, and so much more. And they do offer free events and classes for students. So if you do want to go check them out, You can go on their website and look for any classes that they might have that you might want to come up and you're like, hey, I want to go check this out. They do amazing work with the Broome County Arts Council. We do have our first Friday art walks. Something that's really cool and unique to Binghamton is that the first Friday of every month, downtown Binghamton kind of turns into this little art festival. All the art galleries open up, street performers come out and perform, and all these wonderful things that students can just kind of go out and really be immersed in the Binghamton culture, which is really awesome. And we have, like I said, we have numerous art galleries throughout the city of Binghamton that student work is often displayed at, especially for these art walks. And of course, we do have numerous venues for students to play. If you're in a band or anything like that, there's definitely lots of ways to kind of go out there and make sure that your band is, out in front of an audience, which is amazing. But not only that, we have this really great, and it's not listed here, we have this great event called Porch Fest that happens in the fall semester, again, early September-ish. Happens on the west side of Binghamton, where people kind of give up their porches, their front porches, and they turn them into little stages where people can go out and perform. There are plenty of local bands that go and perform, but I know plenty of students and student bands that have also performed during Porch Fest. Actually, one of my good friends, Ty, actually had a whole stage. He had about a half-hour set. Boom, done. And there's like hundreds of different bands and sets that go on during Porch Fest, so I certainly love to highlight that as well. And of course, going back to the theater nerd in me, we have plenty of local theater organizations around the Binghamton area between our Endicott Performing Arts Center, Spare, SRO, Note, Hiawatha, Shenango River. There's so many great local theater organizations that usually have discount tickets for students. I myself have been in shows at EPAC and Spare and Hiawatha. They're really great organizations to be a part of. And so, as a student, you can certainly go ahead and audition for these as well. But if you want to just go check out some shows or anything that they have to offer, there's certainly those opportunities that exist in the local area. So you're not just confined to campus. We encourage you to go out and explore the local area and everything that we certainly have to offer here at Binghamton. So that does kind of wrap up the presentation. Of course, if you have any further questions about the arts, you can certainly feel free to send me an email or to call me. You can see my contact information up here as well. I'll be more than happy to answer anything like that. As I said, there's no portfolio or anything required to be a major except for a music performance major. But you can always feel free to send in a special talent review here at Binghamton if you're interested. That's just an additional supplemental portfolio that you can send in if you want. It's not required. It just might give you that little extra boost if you want to send that in and showcase your talents and everything like that. So we have that in art, music, theater, and speech and debate. I believe we're the fourth. There might be a fifth one. I don't think so. But yeah, so we're just about at 5:30. So let me just stop sharing my screen really quick, see if we have any questions and answers. We have one that Carrie already gratefully answered. No, please. No, that's definitely absolutely, thank you for doing that. So I don't see any other questions. So again, thank you so much for joining us this evening. If you do have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me directly. I'll be more than happy to answer anything. Carrie, I don't know if you have any last words that you just want to mention real quick.
Well, I guess I would just say that, shopping around for colleges is a big task, right? And so if you're interested in the arts, something to think about is that, the difference between going to a liberal arts college and going to a conservatory style institution is that with liberal arts, you can kind of experience different areas, right? You can have multiple majors, you can have multiple minors, right? And in this day and age, when you're trying to get a job after college, having double majors or double minors under your belt is really smart. And sometimes you can't do that at conservatories, but both styles of school really offer something fantastic for students. But it just kind of depends on what you want to enter your career as. So that's something important to consider when thinking about a school like Binghamton.
Awesome. Thank you so much for those wise words. And so with that, like I said, I want to be cognizant of everyone's time. So thank you so much for joining us this evening. Carrie, thank you so much for volunteering your time here and sharing the great the great things going on here in all of our fine and performing arts departments. Please, again, if you do have any other questions, you can feel free to reach out to me. And of course, stay safe, stay healthy, and we hope to see you here at Binghamton sometime soon. So thanks again, everyone. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening.